The first red flag wasn't the note. It was the handwriting. I know my wife's handwriting. I've seen it on birthday cards, grocery lists, sticky notes on the bathroom mirror. She loops her lowercase g like a figure eight. Always has. This note. Sharp. Block letters. Angry. Said. She's not available. Stop trying. No love, Amber. No smiley face. Just that. And it came back inside the flower box I'd sent to her job. Not even 24 hours earlier, I was standing in line at a strip mall florist, asking if they had anything that didn't look too Valentine's Why. The guy behind the counter showed me some orange lilies, and I thought, sure, why not? I wrote the note right there on a little card with flowers printed on it. Hope this brightens your day. I love you. I paid extra to get them delivered by noon. I even texted her later, just a simple, did they arrive? No answer. But that wasn't new. Amber's been heads down at work a lot lately. I wasn't panicking yet. Then the box showed back up. Crushed. Returned to our porch like it was junk mail. I stood there in the doorway for a full minute, just staring at it. Quick pause. Before we go deeper, drop a comment with where you're watching from. I brought it inside and laid it on the counter. The flowers were wilted, like they'd been tossed around. The note I wrote was still in there, bent and stained with what looked like coffee. And then, tucked behind it, was that second card. The one that stopped my heart for a second. Not her handwriting. Not her tone. So who the hell wrote it? I grabbed my phone again, this time calling instead of texting. Straight to voicemail. Then I called her office. Receptionist picks up. Amber? Oh, I think she stepped out for lunch with a client. Client. I said nothing. Just hung up. Lunch with a client meant something different now. I paced the living room, rereading the card like it might change. I took a photo of it. Zoomed in. The letters looked rushed, like someone scribbled it right there in the break room. She didn't even try to hide it. By the time she walked through the door that night, smiling like everything was fine, I had the box sitting on the kitchen table waiting for her. Flowers, both notes, the whole mess. She stopped cold when she saw it. I didn't say a word. I just pointed at the note. Who wrote that? I asked. She didn't answer, just stared at it like it was a bomb. I asked again, louder this time. Amber, who wrote that damn note? She blinked, looked up at me. Her mouth opened, then shut again. I took my keys off the hook, and I left. Amber didn't follow me out that night. She didn't call, didn't text, didn't even open the Find My iPhone app we used to share. I waited in the Walmart parking lot for 2 hours with the AC on, just staring out at nothing. I wasn't even sure what I wanted, proof, an apology, or maybe just for her to act like she gave a damn. At some point, I realized I'd been holding that note in my hand the entire time, creasing the edges so bad it looked like a receipt. The handwriting kept playing in my head. Those stiff, blocked letters. She's not available. Stop trying. Who the hell was it meant for? A stranger? Or me? By the time I came back home, around 11, the flower box was gone. Trash bin out front was empty. Kitchen spotless. Amber was in bed, lights off, pretending to sleep. I didn't say a word. I just lay down on the edge of the mattress like a guest. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Made coffee, scrolled her phone, asked if I wanted eggs. I said, so who wrote the note? She froze. Her back was to me, but I saw her arms stop mid-stir like her body didn't know what to do next. Then she said, what note? The one in the flower box. The one that said stop trying. I don't know what you're talking about, she said, too quickly. I laughed. It just came out, short and bitter. You want to see the picture I took? She turned around then, and for a split second, I saw it. Panic. That tight look in her eyes, like she just realized the window had been opened during the conversation. But it vanished just as fast. Maybe someone in the office thought it was a joke. A joke? From who? She shrugged, way too casual. You know how people are. That didn't make sense. Nobody in her office would dare return flowers with a personal note unless they knew they had permission, or unless they thought I was some creep. Someone who wasn't her husband. I waited a beat. Where'd you go for lunch yesterday? She blinked. What? You told them you were with a client. Who? Oh, Sandra. From accounting. Call her. What? Call Sandra. Put her on speaker. She started to stammer, reaching for her phone, then pretending she couldn't find it. I just stood there, not saying a word, watching her dig through a purse she clearly wasn't searching. And then she said the one thing that told me everything I needed to know. Why does it matter who I had lunch with? There it was. The shift. The pushback. the attempt to turn my question into her defense. She never answered me. Not once. Just kept spinning. And the more she dodged, the quieter I got. Because I didn't need her to admit it anymore. I already knew. I left the house around noon and didn't tell her where I was going. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just took the photo of that note and drove straight to her office. I didn't have a plan, but I didn't need one. I was done playing clueless. At the front desk, I asked for Amber, said I was dropping off some paperwork. The receptionist gave me a weird look. "She's not in today," she said. My heart stopped. She called in sick? No, she took personal time. Left around 9:30. 9:30. That was 20 minutes after I left the house. I walked out without another word, got in my car, and just sat there gripping the steering wheel. She was hiding something, and now she was running out of lies to hide behind. And I was done waiting for the truth to come to me. I turned the key, threw it in drive, and headed to the one place I figured I could get answers. Her best friend's house. Because if Amber wasn't telling me the truth, maybe someone else would. I didn't even call ahead. I just showed up at Dana's place and knocked until she answered. Amber's been best friends with her since high school. They tell each other everything. At least, that's what Amber always said when she wanted to vent about someone. I figured if anyone knew something, it was her. Dana opened the door wearing gym clothes, holding a smoothie like she'd just come back from yoga. Her eyes widened the second she saw me. "Caleb, everything okay?" "Not really," I said. "Can I come in?" She hesitated, just for a second, but stepped aside. I walked into her spotless kitchen and got straight to the point. "Where's Amber?" I don't know," she said, voice already shaky. She didn't say anything about plans today. I looked at her hard. She told her job she needed personal time. Left this morning. You sure she didn't say anything? Dana shifted, set her smoothie down without drinking it. "No, we haven't talked since. I guess yesterday." I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. Brought up the photo of the note. I didn't say anything, just handed it to her. She looked at it for 2 seconds before her face completely changed. "You think I wrote this?" she asked, stepping back like I slapped her. "I think someone did. And it sure as hell wasn't Amber." "I didn't write that, Caleb." "Why would I?" "I don't know. Maybe to protect her. Maybe she asked you to." Her mouth opened like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. Then she crossed her arms. "Whatever's going on between you two, don't drag me into it." I leaned on the counter, tired of the dance. "Look, she lied about lunch. Lied about work today. The flowers I sent got sent back with this note. I'm just trying to figure out who the hell thinks I'm someone to stop trying with my own wife." Dana looked down, then finally said, "Maybe you should be asking who she's spending her time with, not who wrote the note." That hit me like a shovel to the chest. "So you do know something." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. I turned and walked out without another word. And this time, I didn't go home. I went to the taco place from the receipt I found stuffed in the flower box. The one where someone ordered 2 meals, on the day she was supposedly in back-to-back meetings. And I showed that receipt to the kid at the register. He glanced at it, looked at me, then said, "Yeah, I remember that order. It was to go, picked up by a guy in a gray Toyota." I asked if he remembered what the guy looked like. Tall, clean cut, kinda uptight. I asked him if he remembered the woman. He shrugged. She stayed in the car. Of course she did. I drove around for 2 hours looking for gray Toyotas. I knew how dumb that sounded, but I couldn't sit still. I kept replaying the cashier's words in my head. She stayed in the car. That alone told me everything I needed to know. She didn't want to be seen. Amber's not subtle. She's never been good at lying, either. But now it wasn't just some work excuse or a weird schedule. She was going places with someone else. Letting them speak for her. Letting them return my damn flowers like I was some unwanted stranger. And now I had a car. Gray Toyota. Clean-cut guy. Uptight. That narrowed it down to about half the city. I ended up in the parking lot of her office again, just watching. I didn't even expect to see anything. I just wanted to feel like I wasn't losing control. Then around 4:30, I got lucky. A gray Camry pulled up to the side entrance. Amber came out 2 minutes later. She was wearing jeans now, casual clothes, not what she left the house in. She didn't even look around. Just opened the door and got in like it was normal. No hesitation. No fear. Like this was routine. They pulled out fast, but I was ready. I followed at a distance, 2 cars back, trying not to get noticed. They drove across town and pulled into a gated apartment complex on the south side. Somewhere she'd never mentioned, ever. The gate opened. They went in. I didn't. I parked across the street and watched from behind the tinted glass of a laundromat. I could see the third-floor balcony from where I sat. Lights came on inside about 10 minutes later. She was in there. With him. And I realized in that moment, I wasn't just following them to catch her. I was following them because part of me still couldn't believe it. Not until I saw it with my own eyes. And I was about to. I waited across the street until the sun went down. The laundromat lights buzzed behind me, but I couldn't pull my eyes off that balcony. Every couple of minutes, I thought about getting out of the car and walking straight to that unit. Just knock on the door and see who opened it. But something stopped me. Maybe I wasn't ready for the answer. Then the sliding glass door opened. Amber stepped out. She had a drink in her hand and that casual, relaxed body language you only get when you feel safe, comfortable. She leaned on the railing, looked out like she didn't have a husband sitting in a car across the street trying not to lose his mind. And then he came out. Tall, just like the cashier said. Dressed in a white tee and sweatpants. His hand slid around her waist like it belonged there. They laughed at something I couldn't hear. She turned her head, kissed him on the cheek. That was it. I needed to see his face. I got out of the car and crossed the street, fast but quiet. The gate was still open just a crack, probably stuck that way from a busted sensor. I slipped through and headed toward the stairwell. I knew exactly which unit it was. Third floor, third one from the right. My heart was slamming in my chest, but my mind felt clear. It wasn't about getting angry. It was about knowing. Because up until that second, there was still this insane voice in the back of my head saying maybe it's a misunderstanding. I made it to the third floor and walked right up to the door. I didn't knock. I didn't say anything. I just waited. And less than a minute later, he opened it. I guess he must have heard me on the stairs, or maybe Amber saw me from the balcony. Either way, there he was, right in front of me. Mid-30s, clean cut, barefoot. He didn't look surprised. He didn't look guilty either. He just looked at me like I was an inconvenience. "Can I help you?" he asked. I stared at him. Then I looked past him. Amber was in the kitchen, frozen. She didn't move, didn't say my name. And I swear to God, neither did I. I turned around and walked back down the stairs without a word. Amber came home the next morning around 10. She walked in through the front door with her work bag slung over her shoulder and a coffee in her hand, like she had just dropped by Target or something. No panic, no rush, just calm, like this was her normal. I was sitting at the kitchen table. I'd barely slept. I didn't even look up when she walked in. I just waited to see what lie she was going to go with. She set her bag down and started unpacking something from a paper bag. "I brought you a bagel." A bagel. That's how she opened this. I waited a second, then said quietly, "So who is he?" She stopped mid-movement. Didn't turn around. Just froze. I stood up. "The guy in the apartment. The one who opened the door when I came up the stairs last night. You gonna tell me who he is, or should I just call him myself?" She finally turned. Her face was pale, and her mouth open like she wanted to pretend she didn't know what I was talking about. But we were way past pretending. "I'm sorry," she said. "That's all. Just those two words." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Sorry? You've been sneaking off with him for how long?" Amber looked down. "It didn't mean to happen. It was just," she paused, searching for something to say. "It was a mistake." "Was a mistake?" I stepped closer. "You mean yesterday? Or the week before that? Or the day you had him write a note and send my flowers back?" That hit her. I saw it in her eyes. "You think I asked him to do that?" she said. "I didn't know he sent the note." "I didn't," she trailed off. I stared at her. "So he speaks for you now? He decides who gets to contact you?" She didn't answer, just stood there looking small. I grabbed my keys from the counter. "Get your stuff and go to his place. Don't come back." "Caleb." "No. Go live in that apartment you think I wouldn't find. Go play house with him. Just don't stand in this kitchen and lie to me again." I walked out before she could say anything else. And this time, I didn't look back. 3 days passed. She didn't come back. No calls, no texts, just silence. I started to think that maybe this was how it would end. Quiet, ugly, unfinished. And honestly, I was fine with that. Until I got the email. It was from her work account. Subject line, hotel confirmation. No message in the body, just a forwarded thread. At first, I thought maybe she sent it by mistake. But when I opened it, my stomach dropped. The first email in the thread was from some hotel in Indianapolis. Reservation for 2 nights, under her name. The next one was from him. No name, just his email address. but I recognized it from the corner of the note he'd left in the flower box. He had signed into her account. His message was short. Looks good. I'll meet you there Friday around 6. Bring that dress. That dress. The red one she wore to our anniversary dinner last year. The one she swore she hated because it showed too much. I hadn't seen her wear it since. Guess now I knew why. She didn't just cheat. She planned it. She built an entire second life with this guy. Hotels, cover stories, shared inboxes. He was using her email like it belonged to him. Like she did too. I stared at the screen for a long time before I did anything. Then I hit reply. All I wrote was, "She's all yours now." And I clicked send. An hour later, my phone rang. It was her. First time since I kicked her out. I let it ring. Then it rang again. And again. I finally picked up. "Why would you reply to that?" she snapped. No apology. No panic. Just anger. "You sent it to me," I said calmly. "No, I didn't. That wasn't meant for you." "He must have." She stopped herself, realizing how pathetic that sounded. I didn't say anything. "You don't get to just humiliate me like that," she said, her voice rising. That's when I laughed. "Humiliate you? You gave him your password. You planned a weekend away while I was still sending you flowers." Silence. Then she said the one thing that told me she'd never understood what she broke. "I didn't think you'd find out." 3 weeks after everything went down, I sent her flowers again. Not roses this time. Dead sunflowers. Dry, crumbling, and packed in the same kind of box the first bouquet came in. I even paid for overnight shipping. And this time, I added a card that said, "This feels more fitting." She got them at her office. I know because Dana texted me the second they showed up. Apparently Amber didn't say a word, just stared at the box, turned red, and threw it in the trash without even opening the card. Everyone in her department saw it. Word spreads fast in a small office. Petty? Maybe, but I don't regret it. The week after I kicked her out, I changed every lock, closed the joint bank account, and pulled my name off her car insurance. She tried calling a few times, never to apologize, always to talk like adults. I blocked her after she left one voicemail crying and another one blaming me for ruining her life. No, she did that all on her own. The guy she cheated with? Turns out he was married too. Dana told me his wife found out after the hotel email got passed around. Word is, they're both out of their marriages now, but not together. He ghosted Amber as soon as the mess got public. That's the part that actually made me laugh. She threw away a loyal, boring husband for a man who didn't even stick around to help clean up the damage. Karma's not always instant, but it shows up eventually. As for me, I'm not gonna pretend everything's perfect. I've got trust issues now. I still check receipts twice and think twice before letting someone in. But I'm not bitter. I've started hiking again, something I gave up early in the marriage because Amber wasn't outdoorsy. Turns out I like quiet. I like space. And I really like not walking on eggshells in my own home. One day, maybe I'll date again. Not in a rush. For now, it's just me, my dog, and a peaceful house that doesn't feel like a lie anymore. And every time I see sunflowers in the store, I smile. If your ex got dumped by the person they cheated with, would you feel satisfaction, or would you let it go? Tell me in the comments. And if you've stuck with the story this far, like and subscribe for more.